Shloka. So again, let's just do that twice so that we have good practice. So if you can just follow after me. The invocation to Lord Dakshinamurti, the Dhyana Shloka for that. Om Spatikakarat Rajat. I don't know why. Spatikarat Karajata Jata Varna. If I do the whole thing, then it becomes Om Spatikarat Jat Varna Mauktaki Makshama Spatika Rajata Varna. That's the thing. Om Spatika Rajata Varna Maukaki Makshamalam. Om Spatika Rajata Maukaki Makshamalam. Om Spatika Rajata Varna Maukaki Makshamalam. Om Spatika Rajata Varna Maukaki Makshamalam. Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnana Mudram Karagre. Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnana Mudram. Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnana Mudram Karagre. Amrita Kalasha Vidyam Jnana Mudram Karagre. Dadata Muraga Kaksham Chandrachudam Trinetram. 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 Vidhrita Vivida Bhusham Dakshina Murtimide. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye. Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayachha Swaha. Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayachha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshina Murtaye. Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayachha Swaha. Mahyam Medham Pragyam Prayachha Swaha. Okay, so now we will start on the 108 names. We may not get to the end, we'll see. Om Omkara Simha Sarvendraya Namaha. 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 Om Omkaro Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkaro Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkaro Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkaro Kokilaya Namaha. Om Omkara Nida Shukaraje 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 Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Omkararanya Kunjaraya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Sutta Janaye 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 Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Nagaraj Nijalayaya Namaha. Om Navamanikya Namaha. Om Navamanikya Namaha. ॐ नवमाणिक्यमालाढ्याय नमः।
ॐ नवमाणिक्यमालाढ्याय नमः।
ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः।
ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः।
ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः।
ॐ नवचन्द्रशिखामणये नमः।
ॐ नन्दिताशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः।
ॐ नन्दिताशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः।
ॐ नन्दिताशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः।
ॐ नन्दिताशेषमौनीन्द्राय नमः।
ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः।
ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः।
ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः।
ॐ नन्दीशादिमदेशिकाय नमः।
ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः।
ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः।
ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः।
ॐ मोहानलसुधासाराय नमः।
ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः।
ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः।
ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः।
ॐ मोहाम्बुजसुधाकराय नमः।
ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः।
ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः।
ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः।
ॐ मोहान्धकारतरणये नमः।
ॐ मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः।
ॐ मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः।
ॐ मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः।
ॐ मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः।
ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्ताज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः।
ॐ भक्ताज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः।
ॐ भक्ताज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः।
ॐ भक्ताज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः।
ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः।
ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः।
ॐ भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः।
ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः।
ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः।
ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः।
ॐ गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः।
ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः।
ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः।
ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः।
ॐ गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः।
ॐ गङ्गाधवलदिव्याङ्गाय नमः।
ॐ गङ्गाधवलदिव्याङ्गाय नमः।
ॐ गङ्गाधवलदिव्याङ्गाय नमः।
ॐ गङ्गाधवलदिव्याङ्गाय नमः।
ॐ गङ्गापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः
ॐ गङ्गापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः
ॐ गङ्गापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः
ॐ गङ्गापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः
ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः
ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः
ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः
ॐ गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः
ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः
ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः
ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः
ॐ गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः
ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः
ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः
ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः
ॐ वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः
ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरुद्दिशाय नमः
ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरुद्दिशाय नमः
ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरुद्दिशाय नमः
ॐ वदनेन्दुस्फुरुद्दिशाय नमः
ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः
ॐ वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः
ॐ वरवीणोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः
ॐ वरवीणोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः
ॐ वरवीणोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः
ॐ वरवीणोज्ज्वलत्कराय नमः
ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः
ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः
ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः
ॐ वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः
ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः
ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः
ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः
ॐ वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः
ॐ तेजःपुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः
ॐ तेजःपुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः
ॐ तेजःपुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः
ॐ तेजःपुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः
ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः
ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः
ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः
ॐ तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः
ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः
ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः
ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः
ॐ विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः
ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः
ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः
ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः
ॐ तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः
ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः
ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः
ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः
ॐ दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः
ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः
ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः
ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः
ॐ दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः
ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः
ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः
ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः
ॐ दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः
ॐ दरिद्रधनसेवधये नमः
ॐ दरिद्रधनसेवधये नमः
ॐ दरिद्रधनसेवधये नमः
ॐ दरिद्रधनसेवधये नमः
ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः
ॐ क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः
Om Kshirendusphatikakaraaya Namaha.
Om Shirenduspatikakaraaya Namaha.
Om Kshirendu Mukutojjalaya Namaha.
Om Shirendu Mukutojjalaya Namaha.
Om Kshirendu Mukutojjalaya Namaha.
Om Shirendu Mukutojjalaya Namaha.
Om Kshiropahara Rasikaya Namaha.
Om
Kshiropahara Rasikaya Namaha. Om Kshiropahara Rasikaya Namaha.
Om
Kshiropahara Rasikaya Namaha. Om Kshipraishvarya Phalapradaya Namaha.
Om
Kshipraishvarya Phalapradaya
Namaha.
Om Kshipraishvarya Phalapradaya Namaha.
Om
Kshipraishvarya Phalapradaya
Namaha.
Om Nana Bharana Mugdhangaya Namaha. Om Nana Bharana Mugdhangaya Namaha. Om Nana Bharana Mugdhangaya Namaha.
Om Namaha Namaha.
Om Nari Sammohana Kritaye Namaha.
Om
Nari Sammohana Kritaye
Namaha.
Om Nari Sammohana Kritaye Namaha.
Om
Nari Sammohana Kritaye Namaha. Om Naga Brahmarasa Swadine Namaha.
Om Nada Brahmarasa Swadine Namaha.
Om Nada Brahmarasa Swadine Namaha.
Om Nada Brahmarasa
Swadine Namaha. Om Nagabhushana Bhushitaya Namaha.
Om Nagabhushana Bhushitaya Namaha.
Om Nagabhushana Bhushitaya Namaha.
Om Nagabhushana Bhushitaya Namaha.
Om Murti Nindita Kandarpaya Namaha.
Om Murti Nindita Kandarpaya Namaha.
Om Murti Nindita Kandarpaya Namaha.
Om Murti
Nindita Kandarpaya Namaha. Om Murta Murta Jagat Vapushe Namaha.
Om Murta Murta Jagat Vapushe Namaha.
Om Murta Murta Jagat Vapushe Namaha.
Om Murta Murta Jagat Vapushe Namaha.
Om Mula Jnanatamo Bhanave Namaha.
Om
Mula Jnanatamo Bhanave Namaha. Om Mula Jnanatamo Bhanave Namaha.
Om Mula Jnanatamo Bhanave Namaha.
Om Murti Matkalpapadapaya Namaha.
Om Murti
Matkalpapadapaya Namaha. Om Murti Matkalpapadapaya Namaha.
Om Murti Matkalpapadapaya Namaha.
Om Tarunaditya Sankashaya Namaha.
Om Tarunaditya Sankashaya Namaha.
Om Tarunaditya Sankashaya Namaha.
Om
Tarunaditya Sankashaya Namaha. Om Tantri Vadana Tatparaya Namaha.
Om
Tantri Vadana Tatparaya Namaha. Om Tantri Vadana Tatparaya Namaha.
Om Tantri Vadana Namaha.
So that's half of it. How are we doing with respect to time? We won't make it. So we'll probably do maybe a little bit more, and then we will finish the rest. But it's good to get it twice, isn't it? Yeah, it's just these are difficult words to do. So we'll do maybe for another 5 or 7 minutes. We won't be able to complete the 108. Om Tarumulaika Nilayaya Namaha.
Om Tarumulaika Nilayaya Namaha.
Om Tarumulaika Nilayaya Namaha.
Om Tarumulaika Nilayaya
Namaha. Om Tapta Jambu Nadap Prabhaya Namaha.
Om Tapta Jambu Nadap Prabhaya Namaha.
Om तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः
ॐ तप्तजाम्बूनदप्रभाय नमः।
ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोल्लसत्पाणये नमः
ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोल्लसत्पाणये नमः।
ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोल्लसत्पाणये नमः
ॐ तत्त्वपुस्तोल्लसत्पाणये नमः।
ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः
ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः।
ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः
ॐ तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः।
ॐ यमसंयुतसत्कीर्तये नमः
ॐ यमसन्नुतसत्कीर्तये नमः।
ॐ यमसन्नुतसत्कीर्तये नमः
ॐ यमसन्नुतसत्कीर्तये नमः।
ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः
ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः।
ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः
ॐ यमसंयमसंयुताय नमः।
ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः
ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः।
ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः
ॐ यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः।
ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः
ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः।
ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः
ॐ यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः।
ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः
ॐ मन्दारहाररुचिराय नमः।
ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः
ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः।
ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः
ॐ मदनायुतसुन्दराय नमः।
ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः
ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः।
ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः
ॐ मन्दस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः।
ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः
ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः।
ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः
ॐ मधुराधरपल्लवाय नमः।
ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः
ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः।
ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः
ॐ मञ्जीरमञ्जुपादाब्जाय नमः।
ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः
ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः।
ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः
ॐ मणिपट्टोलसत्कटये नमः।
ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः
ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः।
ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः
ॐ हस्ताङ्कुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः।
ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः
ॐ
हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः
ॐ हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः।
ॐ हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः
ॐ
हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः ॐ हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः
ॐ हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः।
ॐ हंसे द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः ॐ हंसे द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः ॐ हंसे द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः
ॐ हंसे
द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः ॐ मेरुशृङ्गतटोल्लासाय नमः Om Megha-shyama Manoharaya Namaha. Om Megha-shyama Manoharaya Namaha. Om Megha-shyama Manoharaya Namaha. Om Megha-shyama Manoharaya Namaha. Om Medhankuralavalagryaya Namaha. Om Medhankuralavalagryaya Namaha. Om Medhankuralavalagryaya Namaha. Om Medhankuralavalagryaya Namaha. Om Medha-pakvaphaladrumaya Namaha. Om Medha-pakvaphaladrumaya Namaha. Om Medha-pakvaphaladrumaya Namaha. Om Medha-pakvaphaladrumaya Namaha. Om Dharmikantarguhavasaya Namaha. Om Dharmikantarguhavasaya Namaha. Om Dharmikantarguhavasaya Namaha. Om Dharmikantarguhavasaya Namaha. Om Dharma Marga Pravartakaya 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 Namaha. Okay, so we will stop here and we will resume the rest some other time, and it would be nice to be able to just as I mentioned before, that I was planning to do the following, where we will learn to pronounce it, then hopefully learn it to recite it without looking at the book. It'll come, yes. It's not that it took me a year or two, but now I'm a little rusty, but I used to be able to do it. And then more importantly, then we will start to look at the meanings of each one of them. And you have Swami Tattvavidananda's book, of course, on that, but it may be good to spend some time just looking at 4 or 5 of them and expanding it with the meanings, and that might, so it's a long-term program, but it'll be nice to do. So we'll do that. Okay, let's start. Om Shruti Smriti Puranana Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavad-vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Rukarastvannivartakaha Andakara Niroditvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So let us recite the 7th verse, which we will take up today. Nantaf pragyam na bahish pragyam no bhayataf pragyam na pragyana ghanam bhayataf pragyam na pragyana ghanam na pragyam na pragyam
na pragyam
adrishtam apyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam abhyapadeshyam ekatma pratyayasaram prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigyeyah. So this is one of the most important, famous and important verses in all of Vedanta, really. So I think that one suggestion that I would have for you is to just memorize this verse by heart. Na anta pragyam na bahish pragyam. It's not that long, so it can be done much more easily. So just practice on it and just memorize it, and then hopefully use these words and the meaning of the words for your meditation. So for your meditation, you should be, if you have understood reasonably well the meanings of these words, then bring that up in your meditation. Na antaf pragyam, na bahish pragyam, and spend some time on each one of the concepts, each one of the suggestions that the Vedanta gives in your meditation. So I think that would be a good thing to do. You make that one of your sankalpas and follow through with that. So with that, let us go into the verse itself. So the first 6 verses of the Upanishad went into the 3 padas of Atma, the 3 sections of the Atma. And now we are looking at the 4th section, the last pada of the Atma. So, the first 3 padas should be considered to be, in the modern parlance, 3 movies. There are 3 movies on ourselves that we play. And this is how Ishvara has really designed our life. That each one of them, each one of us plays 3 movies every 24 hours. It is remarkable. It must have decided this is a good thing to do. This is why the 24 hours is a very, very important time segmentation. Every 24 hours there is a completion of the 3 movies. And you go back and forth between them. But the movies initially is for entertainment. And later on, the same movies become a platform for moksha. This is how we have to see it. You know, I don't know, those ideas are just coming to me, in the sense that you can very easily see where the movies could be used as pure entertainment. Just enjoying and then laughing about it. And especially these days, you have all these cartoon movies that are very well done, actually. and so you just enjoy it and so on. But then I think that another essence of seeing the movies is to see if there are some concepts and lessons that you can learn from it. So that would be a more advanced usage of seeing movies. So also in our lives. So the three movies that we see are really meant for several different aspects, and one of them is just pure entertainment. And this is exactly what we do. Our life that we have is just meant for transactions. We're not quite sure. And and then the movie is not all pleasant. So it has some crying also in it, wiping out your tears, and then relief. So there are all kinds of, it's a very complicated plot. So the life is a complicated movie. So it's not all pleasant, but you just go with it and so on. But then, hopefully, if we come up to, through whatever means, either through basically anugraha of Ishvara, you come up to an understanding that there is a deeper meaning to these movies. There is a lesson to be learned in the movie. And so the whole teaching of the Vedanta is to now introduce the lessons of the movie and to explain it and to convince us. This is, if we are done, then for each one of us, Ishvara's creation is now satisfied. So it is written in our Shastra that Ishvara wants us to grow, each one of us, to first start with the pure entertainment and then to get more serious about it. Very much like, when the children are first very young, you let them play. You don't start teaching them lessons of so on and so forth. But then as they grow up, then you start to mix the entertainment with some seriousness. All the parents also say, it's time to do something, don't just quit playing now. Now study, please. But it's not all study. There is some mixing of those two. And then finally, you make something out of yourself by just abandoning just pure entertainment play and become serious doctors and lawyers and engineers and so on and so forth. So also here, Ishvara's plan for each one of us, the plan for each one of us, he'll be very happy if we are progressing from pure entertainment to something more serious. And that serious is the discovery of the completeness of yourself, just like the completeness of Ishvara. This is the plan. This is the evolution of the human soul per se. So the first three is to simply show, the first three padas is to simply show that please see. This is part of the introduction of the seriousness. It's to show there's some lessons to be learned. I think I told you this, Swami Dayananji gave this a very example. He says, there was one producer and director, there two people got together and said, this Bollywood formula of having, there's a villain and there's a hero, and the villain is beating up the hero, and then so on and so forth, and finally the hero and the heroine, they embrace, and then the movie ends. So it's very nice. He says, this is so ridiculous. Why do we have to beat up the hero and so on and so forth? It should be much more pleasant. So they designed this play, this movie, where they made up a story. They asked somebody to write the story. And the story is, there is a very happy family, husband and wife. They are both healthy and they have plenty of money, and they are very dharmic. They don't have much ego. They are very nice to everybody else, and happily married. They don't have any problems in marriage at all, and they're so on and so forth. And then their child is born. What a beautiful child it is, and everybody just adores them. And the grandparents are so in love with them. All the neighbors, they contribute and so on and so forth. Contribute to the happiness and so on and so forth. Then the movie ends. Dukha. There is all pleasantness in life and so on and so forth. So they showed it to a few people. They said, what do you think? Finally, the producer showed it to his wife. And she said, oh my God, how much money are you thinking of putting in? He says, a few lakhs. He says, please, please, please. No one is going to see this movie. Maybe somebody will see it movie not knowing what it is, but once they find out what it is, word will flow and no one will come. So also the movies have to have some plot, some sukha dukkha. And so really speaking, the lessons learned from the movies is an important part of that. So therefore, the Shastra introduces us in saying, you've been enjoying movies for a long time. This is the thing that I tell you when, this is the way how the same truth is presented by the acharyas. It's just the way of presenting sometimes that really get. And when I read some of the descriptions by Swami Maheshanandji, it's not as though I didn't know this. I said, everybody has been Swami Chinmayanand, Swami Dayanand, they all are knowers of the truth. So they all said, you've had many lives. And so there is reincarnation. This much I knew. But it isn't really until the way Swami Maheshanandji expressed it, it really hit me, honestly. And what he said was, do you know how many families you've had in the past? Do you know how many wives and husbands and children? Not once or twice, millions of times, millions, trillions, we'd have no idea. And where are you? What's happening to you? You're still engaged with families and love and this, that or the other. Don't you see it's time to graduate to the next level? I tell you, and the way he expressed it and so on and so forth, a series of, I don't remember which text, it must have been Panchadashi, because Panchadashi has been just marvelous. Sometimes I think after all these Upanishads, etc., I think we're pretty much over with it. We're going to stick to Panchadashi and really take into account that we'll spend a lot of time on it. So it just hit me, really, that, it is just wasting of my time. It's okay don't tell any one of your spouses that they're wasting your time. Don't have to tell them, but see for yourself. Where is it leading? What's happening to you? What are you left with? Anyway, so the fourth one, the seventh mantra, the fourth pada, is simply now reflecting on the fact that you have been seeing 3 movies over every 24 hours. Please look at it that way. And it's an interesting thing, because in each of them, and there is no crossover from one movie to the other. There's some vasanas involved in the dream, which is carried over from the movie of the Jagrat Avastha. But you also have a lot of other stuff. A lot of they say, Shastra says that some of the stuff that you dream on is really from the previous lives also. Some shapes and relationships and so on, the subconscious, which cannot really remember during the Jagrat Avastha, there is some vasanas from the previous lives also. So anyway, there is no relationship between the three movies. They're all separate from each other. Now, in this mantra, it says, let us look at the common elements of the three movies. There is something common, very much like if there are three movies projected on a screen. The screen is the same in all the three movies. There is no touching. It's not as though you have some fire in movie number 1 and that fire has burnt the screen. And now when you show this movie number 2, you are seeing it on a burnt screen. No. The screen and the movies are different levels of reality. And the funny part is that you cannot see a movie without the screen. You need the screen to see the movie. There is no movie without a screen. And yet the screen is unaffected by the movie. There's no touching of it or anything. So now, exactly to explain this, the 7th mantra is now given. And so the method here is not this, not that, not this, not that. Swami Maheshwaranji gives this beautiful example. He says there's a person who's new to a town. So he asks someone, he says, sir, where is the post office? He says, oh, the post office? The post office is right opposite the cinema hall. So he said, the cinema hall? Where is the cinema hall? He says, the cinema hall is opposite the post office. He says, no, I don't get either one of them. Where are they? They say they're opposite to each other. He says, what do you get out of it? So when you explain somebody and says, please tell me about this person. So you say, it is not that person. Okay? It's not that person. Okay? And then you'll keep quiet. It's not that. He says, no. You haven't told me anything. Not this person, not this person, not this person. So here, this is an important thing. You see this, the value, the truth of this, the method of this. So this is an important thing to see. So, if the person that is being pointed out is not there, then this method of explaining neti neti, naiti naiti, not this, na antah pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubayatah pragyam, na pragyana ghanam, na pragyam, na pragyam, apyapadeshyam, agrahyam, achintyam, doesn't make any sense. If the person is not there and you say, you know, it is not this, you say, can you describe to me who's the Prime Minister of India? The Prime Minister of India? Oh, he's not the Prime Minister of Singapore. Okay? And he's not the president of this. This doesn't mean anything. But if the person that is being asked about is present, then this is a very good method. In fact, it is necessary. So, So for instance, in the very important example of the rope and snake, if the snake and the rope are present in the room, this is why it is an important thing to see that in the example of the rope and snake, both of them, you cannot say I'm very scared because I saw a snake in the corner there on the backyard, and I was passing by, and I think that he might have even nicked me, So if the person says, no, that is not a snake, that is a rope, remotely, supposing you now come inside the house and somebody says, by the way, that, the one that you were describing, the one you thought that was a snake, it's not a snake, it's something else. Nothing will happen because the person really got scared. So the best way is to take the person, is just show me. Then when you are present, the snake is present. Then you say, this is not a snake. And in fact, it is very important to say that. And I think in one of the acharyas, Swami Maheswaranji might have said, he says, the tone of saying that is also important. You cannot say, this is the stupidest thing you ever thought about, and so on and so forth. You say it calmly. Did you mean this one? Oh, it's not a snake. You say it with confidence in the fact that, and it means that if you see it as a rope, then obviously the confidence will be there. But the important thing is that you have to have the thing that you're identifying present. If you have the thing present in there, then this is a very good method. Very good method. In fact, as the Vedanta will show, it is the only method. There is no other method. Why? Because it is present and not identified. So you have to say, by the way, the movie that you are seeing. So somebody says, where is the screen? It's a slightly different example. Here it is me. But here the example is that of a screen. But supposing you say, where is the screen? Where is the screen? And then you say, you see the movie? Yes. The screen is right there. He says, I don't see it. Because it is something which is common in between the scenes. And you say, where? I don't see something which is common in between the scenes. Well, wait for the scenes to finish. And the scenes never finish. And the scenes don't finish because there is no, and if the scenes finish, there's no light. And so the screen is also not lighted up, but it is very much there. So therefore, this is what is called the true method of neti neti. One other aspect of this, I'm just bringing in some technical aspects of this. So the screen here, or the rope as the adhara for the rope. So adhara means the thing that the snake depends upon, or the thing that the movie depends upon. The very basis is, there are two kinds of adharas. So one is called samana sattaka adhara. The other one is called Vishama Sattaka Adhara. So you see the difference between them. So Samana Sattaka Adhara means that supposing you have some water in a cup, Then the cup is the adhara for the water. These are all the basis. So where is the water? He says it's in the, please give me some water. And he says, I have it, it's in the cup. So then in the cup means the cup is the adhara and the water is the adheya, is the one that is dependent on. In this case, the basis and the thing that is based on the basis have the same degree of reality. This is called samana sattaka adhara. There is another adhara which is called vishama sattaka adhara. In vishama sattaka adhara means that the reality of the adheya and the adhara are different. So therefore, the rope is the vishama sattaka adhara. Means that the projection of the snake and the rope are not the same degree of reality. One is Brahma and the other one is Prama. And when you have Vishama Sattaka Adhara, then there is no other method but to first point out what is not, what it is not, what it is not. Why? Because the Vishama Sattaka, the false Brahma, is completely hiding the real Adhara. This is the interesting thing, really speaking, that you find that the only way to not know my reality is ignorance. Ignorance itself it's a very funny quality. Ignorance, which is a quality of the Maya, is a funny quality that it hides the truth. It hides the Adhara. It's possible. And in fact, I've mentioned this to you before, that this is the primary reason, the primary color for the painting of the whole Srishti by Ishvara. If the ignorance was not there, there will be absolutely no Srishti whatsoever. But the fact of the matter is that the truth can in fact be hidden. That's a possibility. This is the play of the whole thing. And so therefore, the only method, now to come back to the verse number 7, the only method to identify something which is there but not understood is to remove all the falseness from it. Why? Because if it is a Vishama Sattaka, not Samana Sattaka. So this is the method the Upanishad uses. So just looking at some of the words now. The very last word, Vijñeyaha, is an interesting one, an important one. Vijñeyaha means it is worth knowing. It should be known. And Swami Maheswaranji gives this example. He says, somebody asks you, oh, I'm going to be in India. What should I see? So normally people say, oh, you must go to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. It's worth seeing. Or if you have some other favorites, you can say, oh, you have to go to the temples, some temple. You have to see this. This is what is called Vijñeyaha. And so, Atma is Vigyeya, is worth seeing. And you know, it's very interesting, in the 108 names of the Dakshinamurti, for example, it says that one which is in one of the descriptions of that, one which is sought after by the devas. So supposing, you know, just look at this. If you're going to India and you've never been to there, then Taj Mahal is what you should see. Okay, fine, that's in India, but what should I see in Egypt? What should I see here? And then you can say, you know, this is the thing, you see these travel companies, they say 7 most important, what is it called? Wonders of the world. 7 wonders of the world. And supposing out of them there is a top one, which everybody must see. So in here it says, this is a description in the Vedanta Shastra, that the one where everyone wants to see that. The top people want to see it. The best thing that is sought is right here, which is you. What an amazing thing. It is your truth about yourself. Sa atma sa vigneya. Very important thing to see. It should be sought after. This is the thing to do. And once you do that, then really speaking, you are done. Like, you know, people say, what is it called? This is a new word that I've heard these days, bucket list. I don't know where this bucket thing came from. It must have something.
6 Sigma, probably.
Huh?
6 Sigma.
Six sigmas?
6 Sigma.
So what does that mean?
It is a sort of a quality assurance finding.
No, but what is the bucket?
Well, you can segmentize it, you know.
I see.
Putting in one bucket, another bucket, another bucket.
So I hear this people, this is on my bucket list, I've got to do this. And so on. So it's interesting. What is it? In the Mandukya Upanishad it says, Vijñāte sati sarvam vijñātam bhavati. You know, there's a saying there. So this is an interesting thing. So you say that I have a bucket list. I see this all the time in reality. There's a good friend of ours who's very wealthy, extremely wealthy. I won't name them. And we talk to them. And they say, always traveling, going different places and so on. They say, I want to see everything before I'm gone. And then they segment the whole earth into small portions. They might have gone to South America, but there is a certain portion of South America that they haven't seen. They said, I've got to go there. So I was listening to them and said, oh, that's very interesting. Good, yeah. Okay, when are you going there? He says, I'm trying to go. Africa, this, that, South, you know. So here's the thing. You feel incomplete until you have seen everything. So supposing you say, you know, you need to see the Atma. So the person might say, by seeing the Atma, will my desire to see South America be satisfied? And in fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, I don't spend enough time repeating verses and so on, so they don't come to me. So I've just got too many things to do. But there's a verse which says, maybe you can, some of you reminded, that once all of the wells are filled, there's water everywhere. What is it called? It's the fourth chapter. Once there is water everywhere, then you don't need to seek the individual water. So the answer is, just talking on the Vijnaya, this is supposed to be a summary. I'm explaining more detail than I did originally. Something is not right. I was hoping to finish this verse today, but half of the time is over, so it's unlikely. So it says that by knowing the Atma, so the answer to this person who says, by knowing the Atma, will my desire to go to South America be satisfied? The answer is yes. Everything will be satisfied. Your sense of, because all desires are with a sense of incompleteness. And if the incompleteness is not there, you won't come up with having to see South America and so on and so forth. Hey, it's really a funny thing I see, that here's a person who has so much money, billionaire, they're billionaires. They have so much money that you would think that they will be satisfied with life. And they generally are. I'm not saying that they're unhappy or anything like that. I'm just giving one example of that. But it's a funny thing, because you still feel that I'm not done yet. That after, so what is going to do when you're dying, So what are you looking for? And so somehow you feel that I got to see everything. I got to do a lot of things. And there are others who feel that I've got to learn new skills. And there are people who are, I was just telling you this, there was a friend of mine, his father has very advanced cancer. And a remarkable thing I found out about his father. At the age of 65, when he retired, he enrolled in a PhD program for physics, and he passed it. He became, at the age of 70, 5 years it took him, and he's a PhD in physics. And he was some engineer or something, I don't know what he was doing. Remarkable, really good. But the whole sense is, a 65-year-old person should really just be now satisfied. But you feel, no, I don't know enough. I know about physics. Vijnaya. This is the meaning of Vijnaya. Please, yat vijnate sati sarvam vijnatam bhavati. Please, if you have to find something that you really must know, this is the thing to know. So it ends, the whole thing ends with sa atma sa vijnaya. I'm going backwards. Chaturtham manyante means that this is the fourth pada, but it is not the fourth pada. It is in fact the common pada. But it has to be mentioned as a fourth one because it is not a movie. Means that it is not something which is going to come and go. It's going to be stable. And so that, and in fact, Chaturtha Manyante is a very big thing, because there is something about me which I am just completely neglecting. So for instance, even in this life, forget about previous lives, just in this life, as we have mentioned before, you are the one who was very young. You are the one who was baby. And I don't know about you, but I remember, I can vividly recall the times when I had some kind of a self-awareness very early on. I mean, I didn't know what to do, but even when I was a 3 or 4 year old, and really the first trauma for me was to go to the school the first day. I started to question, what is life? My mom is not here. These people are just looking at me like strangers. The teacher is very busy. And I'm alone and I don't know who is going to take care of me. What is my life? I remember those feelings very clearly. I mean, I'm just exaggerating that, that I had. But that sense of what's... And then my premonition, I think I was about 11 or so. I remember it's in New Delhi, visiting my uncle's house opposite the Ram Leela Gardens. I still vividly remember when I was alone one time, and all of a sudden the premonition of death. Hey, how long am I going to alive? So anyway, all the way from your childhood to this, all we are cognizant of are the stages of my life. When I was young, when I was doing this, when I went to school, etc. You do not understand you are the same person. I mean, you don't understand means you don't think about that person who was young, who is now older, and something which is the same. You say, I was young, I am old. That I. Just look at this. Life will not be a reality unless there was an adhara. You cannot have a young person who's different from the old person. They're totally different personality. That doesn't happen. And so really speaking, the same person is old, the same person is young. It's a remarkable thing. How come we never look at that? And so Chaturtham Manyante means that it is somebody who is totally different from the movies, one which doesn't change at all. And until we inquire into it, it just goes on and on. We've never really looked into the basis of where all the changes take place. So, Sa Atma Sa Vijnaya. That Atma is worth knowing. And so it's not as though, this is the interesting thing. It is not as though the Atma is unknown. So we should be very clear about this. It's not as though the Atma is unknown. It is not known clearly. Clearly means that there is a lot of Brahma on it. So it's very much like it's not as though the person doesn't see the rope. You see the rope. In fact, rope is the one which is making the vision of the snake possible, because the length of the rope is the length of the snake. The width of the rope is the width of the snake. The undulations of the rope is the undulations of the snake. But it's not as though you are not looking at the rope, but you're looking at it in a wrong way. You're adding something extra which you don't need to. Similarly, it's not as though I don't know the Atma myself. I'm working, moving, talking. But I am mixing something on top of it which is creating a problem. I am making it into a limited Atma, when it is in fact a unlimitless Atma. Huge problem. So Chaturtham Manyante means you have to see it as a separate entity. This is what we have to, you can do that if you just dwell on this. As a separate entity which is, you can go back to it. Now Antav Pragyam. So Antav Pragyam here means that one which is not the internal world that we live in, the world of thoughts. completely isolated in the dream state, but even in the Jagrata Avastha, the dream, the world of thoughts, I'm going, now that person doesn't like me, that person loves me, I'm afraid, all those mental things and so on. This is one kind of movie. So if you say that the snake was very ferocious, no, not ferocious. It did not even move. How can it be ferocious? Yes, I saw him moving. That's just your imagination. Na antaf pragyam. Na bahish pragyam. Bahish pragyam is a big problem because I find that I see things and therefore it must be true. And so really speaking, in fact, one of the things that we need to counter, I'm just giving you my own experiences and so on, because the doubt is, see how the problem about not appreciating the self comes up. Let's look at this. So you feel that the whole world is very stable, meaning that history is there. So the earth has been there, Himalayas. So Maheswaranji gives this example of Himalayas, that Himalayas have been there for a long time. Didn't you say that Shiva used to live in the Himalayas? Yes, we say that. And so that means the Himalayas has been there for a long time. And so forget about Himalayas, but supposing the rest of the world, the earth, the sun. And I was just born recently, just a few years ago, and I'm going to just be gone. And the rest of the world is very stable. So this thought, which is supported by evidence, just keeps you from any inquiry. The truth is just the opposite. Just the opposite. How? Because anything which you see, which you experience, what is called Jagat, is Drishta Nashta Swabhava. Jagat, the word Jagat is an important one. Jayate Gacchati iti. As it is born, it is gone. And all you are seeing is the slow movement of the whole Jagat. It looks like it is stable. Just like a body looks very stable when in fact there are millions of mini deaths going on. You just don't see it. But anything which is seen is going. And the Himalayas will also go. The whole earth will go. But you are the only one cannot go. The truth is just the opposite. But I am imprisoned by this thought that I am just a small thing. The whole world is there. History. And it will continue. What are you talking about? How can I be? This is what we have to see. Because this is just, this is not pure science. I have to have pure science. This is not scientific. My saying that the whole Jagat is there and I am just disappearing is not science. It is some amateurish thing. There is no reality to it. The reality is just the opposite. that anything that you see is mithya. It's just going, either slowly or fast. And the only thing that cannot be mithya is you. It's the same one that was young, same one which is old. How can it be any different? And yes, I know it's hard to believe, but look into it. Our Shastras say, this is what Ishvara himself says, yes, this is the direction you should go to. Stop seeing the world as a movie, but see the Adhara, which is you. Na antaf pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubhayatav pragyam. Ubhayatav pragyam means that sometimes, and this is a very small thing, it's not a big thing, but sometimes when you have stopped your sleep, but you have not fully awake in the new movie of the Jagrat Avastha. There are small portions where you're no longer asleep, but you have not yet concluded this is who I am. There is some kind of a small area between those two. You're not there, because that also just goes completely. So antah pragyam also goes, bahish pragyam goes, ubhayata pragyam goes, na pragyana ghanam. Pragyana ghanam here means the deep sleep. When there is no differentiation, there is one big ball of I don't know. You are not that. You are not that. Why? Why am I not that? Because it doesn't last. The litmus test for us to see is, does it last? And what you find is, you, the consciousness, you, the awareness, you, the Brahman, you, the Atma, alone is Satyam. Deep sleep also goes. Na pragyana ganam. Dream also goes. Na antah pragyam. Na bahish pragyam. Na ubhayata pragyam. Na pragyana ganam. Na pragyam. So this is a very technical word. So here pragyam here means, so after a lot of looking at the various books, because I was also not sure about the word pragyam, it's called pragyatratvam. So the knowerness as a human being, as a being. So essentially, so this is an important thing for us to see. So this is what is called Adhyatma Jnanam. Adhyatma Jnanam means that you have the knowledge of the outside things, and then you have a knowledge of yourself as a person, as a not as a real person, but as a human being, that I am seeing, I am watching, I am looking at things, I am hearing. That person is a pragyatra. So that is a knower, feeler, and bhokta, karta, all that. That is what is incorporated by the word pragyam. I am not that, not pragyam. The nature of the Atma is it has no manifestation. Anything which is manifested is not there, because the Atma is not manifest, always unmanifest. As the very first, the very essence of the first stotra of the Dakshinamurti Stotram, it is said, Pratyakatma. And the Pratyakatma is never manifest. And this is the thing. I'm only counting things that are manifest. I am not counting things that are, because anything which is non-manifest, then I feel it is not there. This is the Brahma. So anyway, na pragyam, na apragyam. Apragyam means not an inert. I'm not an inert thing. Neither am I'm alive. So pragyam here means, another way to look at pragyam and anapragyam. Na apragyam, na apragyam, na pragyam. Na pragyam means the alive person. This is the thing. When you say I am alive, this is not the complete truth. It is only the partial truth. Yes, we know you're alive. We know that. You don't have to keep saying that, I'm very happy I'm alive. That's only relevant if you just somehow, like this boating accident where 19 people got killed. And so if you somehow escaped it, and then you say, I'm so happy I'm alive, then that is understandable. But if somebody just walks around and saying, I'm alive, say, yes, we know you're alive. I'm also alive. So when you say I'm alive, is he telling the truth? Is he telling a lie? No, he's not telling a lie. But he is not telling the complete truth. Why not? Because when you say I'm alive, somehow your identity is only as long as you're alive. That means when you say I'm alive means I am subject to death. Not true. So look at this, is an interesting thing. I would leave you with this. Na pragyam means not the alive person. I think that's a better description than, I was talking about the pramatritvam and so on. Just encapsulate that thought. You are not just the alive person. And so what do you mean? If I'm not the alive person, am I a dead person? You are not the dead person. Na pragyam, na apragyam. This is the meaning. Na pragyam, na apragyam. You're not inert. You're not just alive. You are the truth that sometimes can be alive. You don't need to be alive. You are the very basic truth behind the aliveness. So, where are we? 9:30. A few more minutes left. Let's see. So I think I'll just spend a few more minutes. I'm just taking it out of sequence. That's why I started with Savijñaya, just some ideas. I'm going to just spend some time, and this is a revision, we've already done this. Avyapadeshyam. Just look at that, and then we will end the class. Just a few minutes. Avyapadeshyam. Avyapadeshyam means, which actually Avyapadeshyam is at the end of adrishtam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, then avyapadeshyam. Apadeshyam means that it cannot be talked about. What? You are talking about it, and you are saying it cannot be talked about. Maybe Swami Maheswaranji was, and if you recall my original, I was looking at it in January, we spent quite a bit of time on this. Swami Maheswaranji gave some very beautiful examples on this. He said, he says that he was giving his example. He says, I give some in the satsangs. Then it depends on who is in the satsang. So in the satsang you have some people who are sincere, not sincere, but who are students, really want to know. And some people who are just there, either for the first time or they're relatively casual, not that serious. So there's a range of things. So the discussion is usually how are things, and what mandir to go to, and then there is a lot of talk and so on. And then somebody says, Swamiji, tell us about the Atma. So Swamiji sits there. So he says, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Then some other topic comes in and Swamiji is very enthusiastic. Oh, this, that, or the other. And somebody says, Swamiji, this Brahman, I don't quite understand. Can you tell us a little bit about that? He says, yeah, we can talk about it. So somebody complained to Swamiji, every time we ask you about Atma, you keep quiet. Other things you are very enthusiastic about. Why? Why is that? He said, you know what? When I am quiet, I am actually talking about it. And if you look at the students who have been with me for a long time and studying, they enjoy that quietness. In fact, the most important feature of Atma is silence. And you communicate, this is what is called Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Mauna Vyakhya. A Vyakhya, talking through silence. Through silence. He says, I was visiting, Swami Meshananji was saying, I was visiting Punjab one time. And I don't know if any Punjabis here, but he says that I hear from the students will say, Swamiji, kuch dasso. In Punjabi it means, please say something about the Atma. So Swamiji normally would say, please come to our classes. I cannot just talk about this in kind of like this. And I remember this in our satsang with Swami Dayanandji, also in the ashram. Because in the ashram, in the PRC ashram, there will be weekends, a lot of people will come. And they were all enthusiastic, this is a great teacher and so on. And when they ask questions about the Atma, Swamiji gets very quiet. Yeah, we'll talk about it. So, Abhyapadeshyam means you cannot talk about it the same way that you can talk about anything else. But yet you have, and the only way we can talk about it is na antah prajna. Like somebody says, please tell us about Atma. Atma, it is not what you think it is. Okay. What else? Also, remember the other the books that you read? No, it's not that. So you keep on going, it's not that, it's not that, it's not that. What is it? That requires a complete analysis of all of your experiences and then go into the very basis of the experience. And that takes a certain preparation. So this is the meaning of Avyapadesha. It cannot be talked about in that sense. So with that, let me close and leave some time for questions. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam
Nyayena Margena Mahi Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Vashatu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirmayah सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम
There are some fruits that
Oh, yeah, please distribute it.
take it.
Some fruits are here, please. Before you leave, take a look at that if you want something. Satish, yeah.
Yeah, description of Atma, people ask us, you or teachers, describe Atma. They are asking from domain of their awakening state. What an awakening state can understand. Awakening state is limited because there are other states, dream state and deep sleep state. Atma still exists in 3 states, all that. So we are ourselves self-limiting. The very question we are asking, we cannot understand. We have limited ourselves to understand it.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay? And second thing is, if we have understood something which we have gone above it, we have limited it. By asking a question, that we are limiting it, limiting its existence. It is beyond understanding. Something becomes beyond understanding, that also becomes beyond describable. When beyond describable.
You know, we're going to go into that part of it next time.
Right.
So we'll go into that portion. Yeah. So next week we're going to have an altered program. Zarina, I did manage to talk to Dan, and it turns out that room downstairs is available, and that's the last weekend it'll be available because it's being rented out to somebody else. So yes, we will hold the session in the bigger room.
Should we keep the reminder? Because it was.
I think I will, maybe, why don't I send something out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will send something out.
And we have the poster so we can direct people to that back room. Right?
So a couple of things about that. We are going to need to move this higher table and this higher chair, and perhaps even the speaker. So there's some work involved. I think our session starts at 8 o'clock, but if a few of us can come a little bit early, then we can do so. Dan feels that he will have 60 chairs. It'll be arranged so that opposite to what we had before. So I will be talking from the back end of it. So when people come in, you're coming in from that. So I think that that room is available, luckily. That's the